So I'm going to try this. I don't know if it's going to work. The light's real funky out here. I have an idea. Okay, so hopefully that works a little better. Sitting where the trunk used to be. See, I'm sitting right there on a stool. It's one of the things I got going on here. Okay, so hang on. It's starting to get real windy. We're supposed to have thunderstorms this afternoon, and we got some wacky clouds coming over the horizon. That's the way it works here in Colorado in the spring. Every afternoon the skies get black and rains like a bastard, and then you get these beautiful sunsets with the black storms that have gone to the east over the plains, and the setting sun lights up everything. It's beautiful. It's one of the few seasons that are, to my mind, are specific and typical for Colorado. Okay, so anyway, I had a lot of questions about the MG. So here I am, I'm sitting in the trunk of the MG right now. Stripped the interior, I'm sitting in the hole where the trunk floor used to be, and I'm thinking about stuff. Old wiring. Look at the old wiring on this. I don't know if you can see that. Look at this rotten old stuff. I haven't finished yet taking this apart because I had to rip Willow's room apart today because she's been sneaking snacks, and as a result there's ants in her room. So not anymore. Okay. Okay, first is from Paul Steele. Paul Steele made a comment about the replacement floor for this thing, the one that's handmade in England. You remember, it just has a thin layer of black paint on it. Paul Steele, please, Spencer, strip that black paint off and rust paint it, even if there's no corrosion evident. Marine paints are good for this. Then put at least 2 coats of paint on the surface. Doing it by brush lays it on as thicker, and it will not be seen. It does not matter. Can you send some of that rain to South Australia? It's winter here and dry as a minister's sermon. Minister and I, when I was a kid, he didn't give particularly dry sermons, but that's because he was insane. Okay, well, let's take a break and we'll look at that piece. Okay, so there it is. That is the new trunk insert. We can see original heritage equipment. There it is. So it's amazing. I've been looking at it, and they do have basically everything is correct. It's all the same fittings. They make these things, from what I can tell, to be able to pass serious concours inspection. But I have read online that this black covering is not great, and that it'll rust right through. So, yeah, do I really have to strip the black off, though? What a pain in the ass. Can't I just use, bed liner or something on this? That's what I was going to do, is paint it with a anti-rust Rust-Oleum and then literally use that bed liner stuff you get for trucks and just spray the bejesus out of it, and then get it in place. I have to scrape off all these edges where I'm going to be welding and then do it with bed liner again. I don't know. I'm not looking for a concourse restoration. I'm really not. I want it to be nice, but it's not going to be stock like it came out of the factory. It's gonna have a tan interior. It's not gonna have the original black and red interior. And if I had my druthers, I'd have my buddy who's a woodworker fabricate me a complete wooden dash, because this one is just, there's nothing there. Anyway, we'll see. Okay. Randy Allen, great show. Glad you got the hub off. Yeah, I went farther, and I finally got the remains of the tire off. So I was able to get the remains of the spokes out. So I have this rim now. You can see all the rust in there. So I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do with this. I'll probably turn it into a clock, and I'll hang it here inside the garage. Wouldn't that be neat? I'm not quite sure how I'll do it, but maybe I can have some kind of wires or something that go around and hang a clock right in the middle. Maybe that's a stupid idea, but what the hell? I hesitate to throw the thing away. I mean, God, I'm really getting blown out here, so I apologize if I look like Ghost Rider. Demitz 22. Talking again about trying to get that rusted hub off. You didn't try rigid thread cutting oil, that's RIDGID, rigid thread cutting oil, dark with sulfur, or even the extreme performance aerosol version. We use it on locked machinery and tooling all the time. You see, the problem is I don't know how these oils work. I don't know what it is they do. If you have something that's completely rusted together, how does a penetrating oil, does it break down the corrosion? What does it do? I have some stuff that breaks down corrosion, like for the floors in here. I'm going back and forth on how I'm going to deal with them, but I do have a rust neutralizer that actually converts the rust into something else that isn't rust. So I'll look into this stuff, rigid thread cutting oil, because I guarantee that I am going to find more things that are rusted together. Absolutely. Russell Martin. Don't let me catch you polishing all that patina away. Well, let's take a break and, because I want to do a wrist check. And we'll talk a little bit about the wrist check. So I'm out here in the garage. I don't really think that's patina. Anyway, there's my working watch, my Casio G-Shock. It was $49 at Target like 6 or 7 years ago. 6 or 7 years ago. I know it looks like I don't wear this thing, but when I'm out in the garage, this is in my regular rotation. I asked Sabrina if she wanted to come out and do a wrist check, and she's doing other stuff. She doesn't care, so it's all me. I'm all about patina. I mean, that's kind of a thing these days, is you see these trucks or these cars, vintage cars, and they're resto mods. So, you'll have like a 54 Crown Victoria or something else like that, and it's been sitting out in the barn in Wyoming forever, and so it's not really rusted, but it has surface patina, like the paint is all blown through, but it's stable. And people will take those and they'll clear coat the finish, and then they will. Yes, it's me, Sebastian. You can come in as soon as I'm done with this video. I'm making a video. He's also not wearing any shorts. He refuses. He's decided to be free. So I don't think I want to have little boy dancing around here. Right now he's safe in the backyard. That I understand it. So they take these things, these cars with this patina, and then they resto mod them, and they put all disc brakes on it and modern suspension and all that kind of stuff, and it has sort of a interesting sort of sweet and sour thing going on. This, I considered it, but this is beyond patina, in my opinion. It doesn't, I considered it. Like, you could, I don't know, let's talk some more about patina. Here's the trunk, here's the hood, aka the bonnet. You can see this is the original red that was underneath it. And then it was the fashion at the time, in the late 60s and early 1970s, really. Every one of these seems to have been either put out in blaze orange or repainted blaze orange. You can actually see, though, I mean, this thing sat under a tree for 26 years. And the patina, if you want to call it that, is just gnarly. It's not really, I don't know, I guess I just plain old wouldn't call it patina. It's just rough. I mean, it's in a way, I guess it's earned wear, but really it's earned neglect, in my opinion. The car would be a lot happier if it was painted. I just want to clean it up and make it better, turn it into what it was. I like red, so why not? Mr. Bacchus, did you ever think, oh God, why did I start this English car project? No, absolutely not. I don't know. My dad, I grew up doing English cars with my dad, and German cars, and German cars with my brother. I grew up doing all this stuff, and so, I mean, some of the cars that my dad had were just utter wrecks. He had a 58 Jaguar XK150 drop-head coupe, and he bought it in 1977 here in town. He bought it for $2,000, and it had been sitting underneath a tree, or no, wait, that was the MGA that was sitting on the tree. Anyway, the Jaguar was super rough. Like, it had gotten wrecked a couple times badly, and then had really terrible body repair done to it. The leather interior, which had originally been red, was spray painted black. The exterior, which was originally black, was spray painted two-tone maroon and metallic silver. It was just awful. And there were sections on the side, driver's side of the car, where you had like inches of Bondo. It was just, I mean, that thing, he stripped that thing down to nothing. It had the body dipped. That long ago, you could still do that environmentally. You can't do it now. But so this is everything that I expected. In some ways, it's actually better than I thought. I thought that the floors were going to be completely gone, but they're pretty solid, all things considered. So I'm just, the thing that I have to wrap my head around is I have to get to the point that it's just, I can't hesitate. I can't say, maybe this is good enough. Maybe I can leave this. I think it's all got to come apart, but we'll see. Okay. Tim Holton. That extra spring thing might be a spring saver. Back in the 1980s, those were sold at repair shops to correct saggy leaf springs on cars, where replacing the whole spring pack was a spendy proposition. The place I worked at stopped selling them in 1986, but they were a good moneymaker because the sales writers could sell them with real measurements. They'd have a book where there'd be bumper heights listed, and if the car didn't measure up, they'd pitch these gizmos and make commission. If the numbers didn't convince, they'd try the headlight alignment play. Saggy springs will cause you to not get all you could out of your headlights, and you could be blinding other drivers. Our national store shop sold a couple sets a day. That would explain it. There's a few things about these things, but let's look at these springs. Yeah, so when I first saw the car, and I stuck my head under it, and I saw this thing, I couldn't for the life of me figure. I assumed, looking at it, looked like the springs had sort of collapsed. I couldn't figure out what they were. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, if he was, because the guy wasn't real savvy. He had a strange idea about how to preserve these cars, but he didn't seem to not spend money on them. Like, when I ripped the front end apart, the brakes were new. It had new brakes. So he's been spending some money on it. I don't know why he abandoned this thing in the woods next to his house for 36 years. Ooh, there's the thunder. Maybe there's something going on that he didn't tell me. I'm sure I'm gonna find it. There's got to be something. But yeah, so that's very interesting. Make a little bit of margin by putting on these spring savers. New spring sets, like complete spring sets, brand new ones, 7-leaf springs, direct from Moss, are like $110 for both of them. They're so cheap. There's no excuse not to do them. So I'm gonna do them. Ooh, storm is coming in. Yeah, it's raining. Spencer Braithwaite. Awesome to see MG content again. My dad and I are tearing into the Mustang finally. He has a 66 Mustang, a coupe. And I have the interior almost completely stripped out. Yeah, the great thing about Mustang, man, is just like this car, every single piece is recreated, is made now. You can get everything. If you found the remains of a Mustang in a drainage canal and all that you were able to salvage was the VIN number, well, guess what? You can make a Mustang around that and make it legal and get it titled and everything, because every other part is made. That's pretty cool. Interior stripped out. That's so fun. Doing all that stuff, especially all of the floors that had all the noise reduction and heat reduction stuff. This like really heavy duty like pitch tar stuff. It took me serious labor to get that out. You can't really, I don't think, I got almost all the sort of the tar out of here, so you can't really see it. You can kind of see some remnants of it here, but it was this big thick layer of stuff. But I mean, this looks awful, but I mean, you've got holes that are going through, but the thing is, this is actually really solid. Woo! That was the back closing. I wonder why I did that. mean, yeah, it's got some holes here, but like I've seen pictures of these where the rust is all the way up into the tunnel. Like you can get metal to replace this. This is all of this on both sides of this is rock solid. I mean, it's just. I mean, yeah, it's got some holes, but I don't. I'm really tempted to just patch this because it's not bad, really. I mean, right there, there's the worst of it. I don't know. I can't figure it out. I go back and forth. I've got to bite the bullet too and rip out the rest of this dash because this is just rotten. You can get caps to cover this, but the crack goes all the way down the face. Last question, Peter Stone. All that hard work will bring great future pleasure. I certainly hope so, man. I certainly hope so. Like I said, Dad had two of these. He had a lot of MGs. We had an MG Magnet, MGA, the Jaguar, and then two mgb-GTs, a 67 and a 73. This one's a 69. But Dad, after I moved away, after college and all that stuff, Dad, I loved those cars. I loved those MGBs. And Dad sold them, and they're gone. And I don't know, I just was always like, oh, I'd love to get one. I'd love to get one. And now it's surreal. I cannot believe there's an mgb-GT here in my garage. Slowly but surely, working along at it. Well, that's the rest of the video. I've got some light this afternoon, and the rain doesn't look like it's here yet, but it might be coming. And so I'm going to get on, see if I can get the rest of this trunk floor out of here. And then once the rest of the trunk floor is out of here, I want to, I don't know. I've still got to order leaf springs for this thing, and I have a lot of the other parts, but I want to start working on like the brakes and everything. It's just like, you know, how nuts do I want to go? Like, do I want to hope that the differential is okay, or do I want to just say, screw it and rip it apart? Everything else needs to come apart. I haven't found anything yet that doesn't need to come apart, really. I mean, well, these hinges aren't bad. These hinges aren't bad. But, you know, the rest of it. All right, well, back to the engine.